Hola, ¿cómo están? Hoy vamos a hablar de verbos extraordinarios. Verbs like gustar and others that work in the same way, and I call them extraordinarios, and you will see why. Let's start with some examples so we see. Vamos a ver. You're going to respond to the questions I will ask. Por ejemplo, a ti, ¿te gusta este auto? A mí me gusta el auto y a mi esposo le fascina la Ferrari. ¿Y a quién en tu casa le gusta este auto? ¿Le gusta este auto a tu papá? ¿A quién le gusta Brad Pitt? A mí. A mí me encanta Brad Pitt. ¿Y a ti? ¿Te gusta Brad Pitt? ¿Y a quién le gusta Shakira? ¿Te gusta a ti Shakira? ¿Le gusta Shakira a tu novio o a tu papá? ¿A quién le gusta Shakira? ¿Y a ti? ¿Te molesta levantarte temprano? A mí no me molesta levantarme temprano, me gusta levantarme temprano. ¿A quién le molesta levantarse temprano? ¿A tu papá le molesta levantarse temprano? ¿A tu mamá le molesta levantarse temprano? ¿A ti te interesa viajar? ¿Por dónde te interesa viajar? A mí me interesa mucho viajar. Y me interesaría mucho viajar a Machu Picchu. Okay, so after those examples, put them over and over and over and make sure that you understand them very well when I ask and respond the questions I ask you. So now we're going to see how these verbos extraordinarios work. They don't work like the English phrasing that you do. When you translate the verb gustar, you usually translate as a I like. But they're not exactly like that. They work the same work as the verb please works. Por ejemplo, me gusta la playa will be the beach is pleasing to me. So you have something that pleases someone. Remember when there is a direction to the verb is directing the action to someone. Remember how that is called? Muy bien, objeto indirecto. Someone is receiving here, and I call them receiving the attraction. So if you look at Brad Pitt, I don't do anything, but Brad Pitt attracts me. So he does the action of attraction to me. I don't do anything. I am the recipient. So who I am in the sentence? I am the indirect object. I'm not the subject. I'm not doing the action of to please. He's actually pleasing me. So this is the way you literally translate and the way you actually phrase it. In English, you do have something like to please, like to disgust. It disgusts me. So you do have this kind of extraordinary structure. And you heard that part de a mí, a ti, a ustedes, a los niños. That part is only to clarify or to emphasize. It's not mandatory. You don't have to put it. A los turistas or a ti, a mí. That part is clarifying or is emphasizing. But again, it's not mandatory. So here is the structure that I wanted to show you and why I call these verbs extraordinarios. So we have this first part that it could be at the beginning, it could be at the end, and is poi. Hopefully you know what poi is. It's a pronombre del objeto indirecto. There are two different kinds of pronombres de objeto indirecto. The one that goes with preposition, with any preposition, in this cases of the verb gustar and all that, is with a. And then you have the pronombre objeto indirecto of the one that you already learned for the indirect object, a recipient. And of course, this is mandatory. it needs to be here because every time you have an indirect object, you have a recipient of an action, you need to let the verb know. And again, this part is not mandatory. Now, what is this part? Remember what is the que of the action? Yes, the que of the action is the subject. With these extraordinary verbs, we don't have a subject. The subject is the object. So if you ask, ¿qué me gusta? A mí me gusta vivir en San Diego. ¿Qué te interesa a ti? A ti te interesa viajar por América. So viajar por América is what interests you. Okay? And you see here, los animales is a plural subject. Then, of course, the verb is going to be conjugated in plural. See? Because the subject in this case is on the other side of the verb. We are used to this, the subject right here. But this extraordinary structure takes the subject right here because the subject is the object. Okay? A Shakira le fascinan los animales. A nosotros nos faltan 5 capítulos más de vistas. Y a ustedes no les importa hacer mucha tarea, ¿no? If you don't know one of these verbs, make sure that you memorize them well for our practice on Wednesday. It's very important. Yeah, I want to do as much practice as we can this Wednesday. So for example, I want you to think about this. I want you to think of what you like, okay? Or what you don't like. Y, por ejemplo, so here we have some examples of things that I like, or things that please me. Por ejemplo, a mí me gusta bailar, me gusta cocinar, me encanta enseñar, me fascina mi familia y no me gustan los alumnos que no estudian. Y I'm gonna finish with this. ¿Qué te falta? A mí me falta tiempo, like everybody. Me falta dinero, of course, like everybody. Pero no me faltan amigos. Yo tengo muchos amigos. All right. I hope you can practice and do a lot of these things. That what is what you like, what is what you really like, what is what you don't like. Okay? And look at the extraordinary structure over and over and over. Okay? Muy bien. I'll let you go and study mucho. Adiós.